Okay, here we go.
Here we are getting ready to make some sprouted wheat bread.
I'm going to try these in the larger one today. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I can get the
We're
whole
using a what is
Ninja.
this? Ninja to grind up these sprouts. These are wheat kernels that have been sprouting for about, wait a minute, let's get them all in there.
3 or 4 days.
Yeah, about 3 or 4 days, and they came from, the wheat came from a local farmer.
Okay.
Grind them enough?
Nope. There's too much space between the edge there, so I'm going to put them back in this littler one here that has tighter. Guess I better leave that on.
Yeah, I would say. So we're going to move them into the smaller Ninja here. So they get ground a little finer.
I say a meat grinder works well for this too, but we don't have one, so this works okay.
We started out with half a cup of the wheat kernels, the wheat berries. And it's really easy to sprout them. They're very, very easy to sprout.
You buy yourself a lid like this, and then a quart jar like that.
With a wide mouth. It's a wide mouth mason jar.
Put half a cup in there. We should do another video on that. Okay. Now I could stop right here and make Essene bread. Just take this gooey mess here and put it in the oven without anything. No salt, no flour, no sugar. Cook it 250 degrees. No, yeah, I think it was 200. I don't know. Cooks for a long time, like 2.5 hours at 250 degrees, I think. It's very tasty. Probably needs a little bit of salt in it. It's also very
Dense.
dense. Yeah, that's the word. Okay, that's it.
Here's the yeast that you have to let bubble before you can start making the bread. We just opened a package of oat flour here. He's going to put a little of that in his bread today, along with some rye flour and wheat flour, and that's all we have, right? And the sprouts.
This is 2.5 cups of warm water, filtered water, and 2 scant tablespoons of yeast.
With that little spatula. Let's see, we have a big bowl here. This is going to make 3 loaves. Here's the recipe called Sprouted Whole Wheat Bread. Comes from the sproutpeople.org. Let's see if I can focus in on that website. No, can't quite do it. Sproutpeople.org.
And half a cup of safflower oil, or whatever oil.
We like safflower because it is the least likely to be GMO of all the oils.
Half a cup of raw honey.
We like to use local honey. This is what we got from, oh, no, that's not the guy. The guy who bought the honey producers' hives. It's not the name that's on this jar, because I recycle the jar. But anyway, we get it at our local monthly, like a flea market that's here in Bonham, Texas.
Now I add my sprouts.
I should just comment one more thing about the honey. I was reading somewhere recently that a lot of the honey you get in supermarkets comes from China or places where there's no regulation at all and is not tested and probably is not pure honey. So I decided that I didn't think I wanted to get my honey from a grocery store anymore. So we always find a local honey producer to get our honey.
Got several around here. Stir this all in. This is the first recipe I've ever seen that you mix all the wet ingredients first and then you add the flour to it. Usually you add the water to the flour, I think. Okay, now I'm supposed to add a tablespoon of salt.
Your other tablespoon's dirty, so this one.
Both of them are dirty.
Here's a half a tablespoon. Use that one.
Tablespoon of salt.
Very scantily measured, if I might say.
And then 4 cups of flour of any type. So I'm going to put some whole wheat flour in first.
That's your oat flour.
I mean oat flour. Yeah. Sift this since it's kind of lumpy. And then, where'd the lid for this go?
Oh, didn't get one out.
cup of whole wheat flour. That's about all we got left here. Did to sift that because it wasn't lumpy. And a cup of rye flour. Organic rye flour. I'm very precise and accurate in all my measurements. And I think I'll add another cup of this if I can get it in. It's about out. Well, that turned out about right. Now we stir this in. If you don't have one of these dough whisks, you don't know what you're missing. Makes this little task a lot easier. Now, I'm going to cover this and let it sit for about an hour or so.
We have these reusable plastic covers with elastic around the edge. Although they're kind of a pain to wash, they are certainly very eco-friendly. Okay, we're going to let this sit for about an hour, and then we'll come back. Okay, you're on.
Okay, it's been about an hour, and I've already added a cup of white flour and a cup of whole wheat white flour in here. And stir it down here.
We should mention we are using bread flour, not all-purpose flour. When you're making bread, it's a good idea to use bread flour. Turns out a whole lot better.
I could probably turn this into a no-knead dough, but I like to knead.
Getting ready to turn the dough out onto the floured counter here. Still fairly sticky. Got this awesome spatula for Christmas this year. It really makes getting all the dough out a lot easier. Okay, need more flour. I'm working on kneading. Turn and then press down with the heels of your hand. And that would be both hands actually. So you work enough flour into the dough to make it so it's nice and smooth and elastic and soft, but not sticky anymore.
Still pretty sticky.
Okay, I'm gonna pause for now. Okay, he got out his little handy dandy red scraper that came with all this other stuff to finish getting all the dough out of there. Still got some up on the edge there if you want to get it. Okay.
A little bit more here, then I'm going to put it back in that bowl.
In case you're wondering, that's the teapot in the background. Just warming up some water.
Not for the bread.
Not for the bread, no.
For the bread making
For
machine.
us. For us.
I'll make a little wooden dough thing to knead on. It's starting to look pretty good.
We're going to get a little bit of olive oil and spray it in that bowl. And then put the lump of dough in there. Spray it. Put the plastic cover back on the bowl and let it rise again. Or until doubled, right?
Yeah. I'll let this rise for about an hour or so.
Okay.
Meantime, clean off my mess.
Okay. Here it is, risen.
Okay, let's.
We put down some flour on the counter again, and you better get your pans ready before you get too involved there. Roll the dough into a cylinder and divide it into thirds. Just going to make 3 loaves. If you want your new pan, it's over here. grease the pans. Okay, greasing the pans with olive oil. Okay, now we're forming those into loaves. It's important that each end touch the end of the loaf pan. And put it in.
This is the part I always mess up on.
I was just thinking, maybe I need to give you a lesson in shaping your loaves. No.
Okay, here's the expert.
Okay, we take this and just kind of fold it under so all the messy part is on the bottom and it's nice and smooth on the top, and stick it in the loaf pan. And that will all fill out as it rises.
Oh, that's so
there
pretty.
We go.
Look at that compared to that and that. Oh my.
Well, this one I kind of fixed for you, but this one is how not to do it.
Still tastes good.
So now we're going to let them rise. It says about 60 minutes. I'm not sure if it's going to need 60 minutes, but until it doubles in size. And bake it. Looks like these loaves of bread are just about perfect to put in the oven, so I am going to turn it on, and by the time it preheats, they should be ready to go in. And I'm just checking here. 375. So the last video will be a picture of them coming out of the oven in about another 40 minutes or so, 45 minutes. Well, here are our awesome loaves of sprouted wheat bread that just came out of the oven. You should smell them. Oh my goodness. They're delicious. Getting ready to have a warm slice here in a minute. These are made out of sprouted wheat and a mixture of other flours, and absolutely delicious. Okay, here's the first slice off of this loaf. Slathered in butter and getting ready to pop it in my mouth. I don't know if I can video myself or not here. That is good.
Ooh,
Here
kinda
goes.
snowy.
No, it's not. Just because it's warm. Here goes slice number 2 into the mouth of the maker.
One of. Ah, nothing like hot bread.
Kind of like Ezekiel bread, only 100 times better.